Winter! It's such a great time of the year, from the dry skin that likes to bleed whenever it wants to pretty much being confined to your house and dying from cabin fever. It's the most wonderful time of the year. I mean, I'm an overweight gaming nerd that just likes to stay inside anyways to play video games or watch episodes of The Office, but that's besides the point. The best part of it is the holiday theme music, although I swear if I hear Rocking Around the Christmas Tree one more freaking time, I'm going to break something! Hello everyone, Alec Elger the SideQuest Gamer here as always, and happy holidays because it's winter outside, at least whenever the weather feels like it wants to be winter. Regardless, here are my top 10 favorite video game themes that just gives off this winter atmosphere that's just appropriate for the holidays. For this list, I want to establish that there is a huge difference between winter-themed music and ice-themed music, as winter-themed music is more along the lines of sleigh bells, piano, and a variety of instruments all played to be upbeat and jolly. It just makes you want to feel all warm and tingly inside. While ice-themed music, it's a lot more desolate and haunting, and as a result, a lot more melancholy than its winter-themed counterparts. So don't expect me to put Ice Cave from Ocarina of Time or In a Snowbound Land from Donkey Kong Country 2 on this list, because those honestly deserve their own list. Tis the season to be jolly. Oh, what do we have here? I'm Santa Quest Gamer, the guy who goes around the world and delivering presents to all the good and bad children who don't deserve it. Now, if you disagree with some of these entries on this list, you won't get these bootleg NES Classic Edition consoles. No. In fact, you'll get coal in your stockings, and that's all you'll get. And that's only if I deem you worthy to survive. So without further ado, let's... That's it! Number 10. Jangle Bells from Donkey Kong Country 3. Yeah, let's start off this list with the cliche intro background music used in a lot of YouTube gamers' Christmas specials, but there's a good reason for that. If there's anything that screams Christmas, it's Jangle Bells from Donkey Kong Country 3. Heck, it's only one letter off from being the iconic song elementary school choirs attempt to sing and ultimately fail at, but that's besides the point. This piece was composed and arranged by the underappreciated Evelyn Fisher, who did most of this game's music, and her choice of instruments works really well and optimizes the SNES hardware to its fullest. But in addition to that, it just gives off that holiday feel. It has a quick tempo and even begins with the Christmas bells you've come to expect. I even really like the percussion despite its electronic sound because the main melody just goes quite nicely with it. The only reason it's not higher on this list is because it's kind of short and sounds very samey after a while, but given you can only hear it after pressing LLRLLRLRLR and typing in Merry in the file select screen, so that in the save file, all the bonus rooms are Christmas themed and have this theme playing in the background, but it just seems like it was specifically designed for these 30-second bonus rooms and not for long listening sessions, so it's a fun listen to give you that Christmas feel, but there's 9 more entries on this list I like a lot more. Number 9. Frappe Snowland / Sherbet Land from Mario Kart 64. Okay, this is not the most Christmassy level theme I've heard, but I will give it this. It nails the fun and excitement of a winter theme level, and in this case, being 2 winter themed tracks in Mario Kart 64, it works especially well, and I just tend to psychologically associate that feeling with this composition. The first 7 seconds begins with pleasant percussion, and then the sweet main melody comes in, and if I'm not mistaken, there's even a faint xylophone in the background, adding that element of childlike enthusiasm to this piece. It's honestly a wonderful composition written and arranged by Kenta Nagata, which was actually his first time working on a soundtrack for a Nintendo game. Talk about great first impressions. So, while this piece doesn't have the sleigh bells you've come to expect, it does succeed in capturing the fun element of winter, whether it be going down a hill on a sled or taking a cruise in a penguin-infested road. Number 8. Snowdin Town from Undertale. With this game being created by a music composer being Toby Fox, what else did you expect than Snowdin Town making this list? It has a pleasant atmosphere to it, giving the player a sense of sanctuary from the craziness that was outside. It is a piano-dominant piece, but it's composed in a way where it would only work for this kind of setting, probably because of the faster tempo. I mean, it just gives you an idea of a town with a Christmas tree and presents visible to even the outsider, and snow-covered houses just passing by. Hearing this piece just makes you think, this is Snowdin Town from Undertale. It's a music piece that just makes this section of the game unforgettable, in addition to standing out on its own merit. Just don't kill everyone beforehand, because then you'll miss out on this piece, and instead get a haunting, sinister theme playing in the background. Number 7. Shiver Star from Kirby 64. This is a very unique piece because it's not the most upbeat piece on this list, not that it really needs to. Given this is Kirby 64, this track has to not only represent the fast-paced action on screen, but also give it a wintry atmosphere. The electronic percussion gives this piece unique support to the main melody that just progresses and changes instruments until 54 seconds in when there's an epic crescendo of violins playing, ultimately giving this theme so much energy. I just adore it so much with its profound enthusiasm. That tempo, that progression, the constant change while maintaining the fast pace, it just stuck with me the moment I first played this level, and was honestly surprised it wasn't on more top 10 lists of this nature. Jun Ishikawa, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, who was one of 2 composers for Kirby 64, composed and arranged Shiver Star theme, and he really outdid himself with this one. So, what other 6 pieces could possibly outdo this one? Number 6. Frozen Factory Act 1 from Sonic Lost World. When it comes to Sonic games, an amazing soundtrack is what many installments are known for, but because Lost World went in a different direction, there were several hits and several misses when it comes to its soundtrack. Frozen Factory Act 1, however, is one of the hits. It has the sleigh bell percussion and an electronic main melody that works really well. It is just the right tempo for a Sonic game, and manages to deliver on not only supporting fast-paced action in the titular level, but it also functions as its own brilliant winter theme piece. Like, can you honestly think of anything other than a snow-covered setting? And what really puts this entry above the other 4 is how the piece is just the right length without one weak aspect of the track before the inevitable loop. That is an achievement, but I cannot honestly say it's top 5 material. Number 5. Snowball Park from Super Mario 3D World. Here's a cliche entry that's probably on everyone's list, but it. This is my list, and I also love Snowball Park's theme, so why shouldn't it be on this list? There's a difference between originality and honesty, and I always vote for the latter, because if I'm not true to myself, then I would be selling you lies just for the sake of being different, and that's not what I'm here for. So, why is this winter theme piece so freaking good? Well, I must disclose that it's actually a remix of Snowland from Super Mario 3D Land, and while that was compositionally sound, I don't really think the instruments used in the 3D Land version did the composition proper justice. Now the 3D World version, however, adds so much to it. There's violins and a flute in addition to a faint accordion, and of course the delightful sleigh bells. Like, man, this is so in your face with its winter atmosphere that it's outright shameless. It embraces its expectations but still surprises me somehow, as opposed to the 3D Land version. Given how 3D World had 4 composers, I'm not exactly sure who composed this specific piece. Maybe it was a collaborative effort, but whoever did it is a master of winter theme composition and arrangement. You may be surprised it's not higher than number 5, but I do feel that strongly about the other 4. Number 4. Winter's White from Earthbound. This is a rather peaceful melody. It's a bit unusual since it's somehow upbeat yet kind of melancholy at the same time. That flute sample really accentuates this feeling, like the character Steve is just lost in this otherwise pleasant snow-covered countryside to answer the plea of distant strangers in dire need of help. And the occasional keyboard that's heard gives it a really funky extraterrestrial vibe, but the sleigh bells in the background keep reminding you, stay calm, it's a winter theme. And for it delivering a solid winter theme in addition to the slight nods to the alien-centered narrative of the game, that is why it's that high on this list. Because while the others met my expectations, this one exceeded them with more original thought put into them. I'm honestly hard-pressed to find a piece similar to this one. but for the instrumentation kind of abiding by the SNES's hardware limitations, it's kind of why it's lower. I honestly thought Brentalfloss's version on YouTube is preferable to listen to, so what do the next 3 pieces do that this one doesn't? Number 3. Walrus Cove from Diddy Kong Racing. If there's one thing you can count on in this world, it's for the composer David Wise to deliver a stellar soundtrack that stands very well as a standalone product and within the context of the levels they play in, despite the limitations of the Nintendo 64's weird sound hardware. And in this case, David Wise really delivered with Walrus Cove. It begins with sleigh bells and a keyboard-dominant melody. I mean, what did you expect for Nintendo 64 sound compression? But its fast pace just exhilarates me to the point where I want to get to first place in Walrus Cove as soon as it starts playing. I want to do all these tricky drifting maneuvers just to go in harmony with the theme playing. That is the power of good composition and arrangement. Good music succeeds when it just motivates you, and this piece just goes above and beyond with that feeling. David Wise may be better known for his work on the first 2 Donkey Kong Country games for their environmental atmosphere, but he honestly deserves just as much recognition for his other work like in Diddy Kong Racing. And if Walrus Cove isn't worthy of such praise, then I honestly don't know what is. This really is one of the better winter themes in video games, but there's somehow 2 more that I consider even better, and they were very close to this one in terms of quality. Number 2. Freezeezy Peak from Banjo Kazooie. I promise this is the last cliche entry for a winter themes list. Can I help that some of the most commonly celebrated winter themes are, I don't know, actually really great? You know what? I don't have to explain myself to you. It's not like you give me ad revenue or anything. Oh man, I gotta stop drinking spiked eggnog. Why is this track so good? Because it's a fast-paced Christmas-themed piece for a Christmas level in a collectathon game. The string instruments and trumpets just give so much life to it, in addition to the piccolo flute that comes in 42 seconds in, and especially the bassoon that comes in 53 seconds in. Everything is just so meticulously arranged that there's just never a dull measure in the entire composition. Grant Kirkhope really captured the setting well for a level filled with snow-covered log cabins, an igloo, and a giant freaking Christmas tree. If a level is going to make the most fun out of a Christmas setting, then it's only appropriate that the music theme works in harmony with the level itself. Nothing says winter like Freezeezy Peak, but the real question is, why is this only number 2? Well, good question. Number 1. The Ice of Life from Croc Legend of the Gobbos. Or is it Gobbos? I don't know. I bet some of you did not see this coming, but make no mistake, I didn't put this on here for unpredictability's sake. The Ice of Life is the most exciting winter theme I've ever had the pleasure to hear. When I did a Croc Legend of the Gobbos review years ago and played through this game, reaching the titular level and hearing this theme for the first time, I was filled with insurmountable joy. So much so that I immediately looked it up on YouTube and shared it with all my colleagues on Twitter because they had to hear it. Some never even played the game and immediately took a liking to the track. It's got the bells and a very pleasant flute, but it just gives us this very whimsical charm to the level. It just tells you that the snowy world is your playground, so go have fun. It just immediately brightens up my spirits, from conveying the winter atmosphere to moving you with its instruments. That's why the Ice of Life is my number 1 pick for the best video game winter theme. So that's all, folks. I hope you have a wonderful holiday this season. If there's one thing I want for the holidays, it's that every single copy of Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree be freaking destroyed and have its bits poured into a dumpster, then we pour gasoline into that dumpster, and then we light it on fire, and then just do this world a favor. Regardless, Merry Solstice, and remember to stay awesome.
Ha ha ha. The SideQuest gamer got trolled by the sneaky gamer.
I swear, Glenn, mark my words, I'm going to go over there, cut you up into little pieces, put you in a nice pie, and feed your remains to the reindeer.
But SideQuest gamer, it's Christmas.
And? That doesn't mean the murder rate goes down, no! Around this time of year, the murder rate goes up. And you know why? Because everybody just wants to drive you insane around this time of year.
Uh-oh.
3 days later. Oh, jeez. It's not even Christmas anymore. Where does the time go?